Hey guys, what's up? Today is back in bicep day. You may be asking why I'm in my car, and that is because when I film in the gym, people just look at me kind of funny. So I would much rather film in the car where I feel more comfortable, where 5 million people aren't walking in and out of the door looking at me like I'm a crazy person. That's my explanation for that. I have not taken my pre-workout yet, so give me just a second. I forgot. That's better. So, to be honest, back and biceps were a muscle group that I hated training. I did not like doing it. It was my Friday workout, but I didn't look forward to coming in at all. I didn't see any progress. I just kind of came in, went through the motions to say that I did them, and then left. And then I started seeing results, so I of course was like, Taylor, you gotta go back now, like we gotta get into this. So it's actually one of my favorite muscle groups to train. I look forward to doing back and biceps on Friday now, so it has gotten a lot better. If there are any muscle groups that you struggle with like I did on that, then just kind of power through it, change it up a little bit, see what works for you. The second thing that I kind of want to talk about, so that I don't repeat it 5 million times, because I probably would if I don't acknowledge it now, is that with back and biceps, you really do need to focus on your back a lot. I kind of repeated myself a lot in my leg day workout, and I would repeat myself a lot in this one too, if I didn't say it now. Guys, it is so important to take care of your back. If you mess that up, you're out for a little while. I did have a back injury. It's the only injury that I have gotten from lifting, and it was during sumo deadlifts, which is why when you're doing deadlifts, I totally encourage you to be careful. I will always say in my videos during deadlifts, be careful doing these, because that's how I hurt myself. I just don't want that to happen to you. So that's kind of the thing. My injury wasn't major compared to what it could have been, but it does really affect all of your workouts. It affects your leg days, it affects your back and bicep days, it honestly affects kind of your shoulder days. You can't push as much weight as you were pushing for as long as you were pushing it, because of that back muscle. Everything is kind of connected to your back. So just giving you the heads up before time, be careful with any type of back exercise that you're doing. Make sure that your form is correct, even if it means going down weight. Your weight is not as important as your form. If you're feeling it in your muscles and you have good form, then that is good enough. It doesn't matter how much weight you're pushing, as long as you're pushing yourself. So without further ado, I know I got kind of like stern there for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and go in and warm up, and we will start out with the first exercise. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do are these single arm bent rows. You can do these without a bench if you want. I just get better contact, and I prefer to do it because it kind of helps with my lower back as well. If you're setting it up this way, you want to have a hand on the bench for support, and the same leg also on the bench. And then you want to put your other foot kind of wide out. The wider out you're going to be, the easier it's going to be to pull that dumbbell back and get contraction. I did 12 reps on each side, and then we moved straight into dumbbell curls with our feet up. You're going to want to go lighter on these because you are not standing and your feet are up, so it's actually harder on you because you can't swing your weight as much and you can't lift those weights using your body weight. I did 15 reps of this, and I did 4 sets total. Moving into the second superset, are you shocked that I haven't been on the cables yet? Because I am, to be honest. We're doing these weight-assisted pull-ups. If you can do these with your body weight, I envy you. Kind of like with the tricep dips, I've been working on this for a long time. Just do as much weight as is challenging to you. I did 8 reps of this, and then I moved straight into push-ups. You can modify this however you want to, add weight, bend your knees if you need to make it easier on yourself. You can also, if it's hard on your wrist to do push-ups like this, use dumbbells and hold them like you would, and then do push-ups on them as well. I did 12 reps, and I did 3 sets total. I couldn't stay away from the cables forever, so for our third superset, we are doing these lat pulls. These are honestly my favorite lat exercise of all time. The way that you want to set this up, kind of like the tricep push downs that I had in my video, you want to set up the same way, but you want to be further back and hinge at the shoulder instead of at the elbow so that you're pulling with those lats. I did 15 reps of this, and then I moved straight into this face pull / row hybrid, I would call it. I was doing face pulls, but those do work your rear delts a lot more than they work your back, so I kind of flipped my hands upside down and grabbed that way so that it kind of forced my elbows into my sides, and I just pulled back. You can go a little bit heavier with this than you can on those lat pulls. I did 15 reps of that, and I did 4 sets total. Moving into our fourth superset, we're doing another variation of a lat pull. This is a neutral grip, and it works the same way as a lat pull down machine would, except you are using a cable and you're bent parallel to the ground. So it looks kind of like a row, but you're actually working your lats because you're bent like that. I also want to point out that that bench is there just for support reasons. I was not putting any weight, and it makes that transition from a lat pull to this row a lot easier. I did do 10 reps of the lat pull, and then we are doing 10 reps of these rows. Notice when I'm doing these rows, I am completely going back and engaging my back muscles. That's what you want to do. You're going to get the best contact that way. I did 3 sets of that. Moving into a superset for our lower back. I honestly don't do a lot of lower back work on back and bicep day just because most of your compound lifts for days such as leg day are also going to use your lower back. I just make sure that I'm hitting it on back and bicep day to make sure that it is being worked throughout the week and it is going to get stronger. This first exercise is something that I love to do for my lower back. I dropped the weight a little bit. This is also going to be something that's good for your posterior chain, so your calves, hamstrings, glutes. And the way that you want to do this is kind of hinge at the hips and focus on pushing your hips back instead of driving your shoulders towards the ground. After 10 reps of that, we are going to move into these RDLs. Again, it's going to work your posterior chain, but you want to go down in weight so that you can really focus on pushing through it with your back instead of using your posterior chain. It's kind of unavoidable, but with going lighter, you can focus on your lower back a lot more than you could on leg day when you go heavier, because that's not what you want to do on leg day, just to make sure that you don't injure yourself. I did 15 reps of this and 4 sets total between the two. So this last exercise is actually a bicep burnout. We only did one bicep isolated movement. Every back exercise that you do is basically going to secondarily use your bicep because you're pulling the weights back, and that also activates your bicep. I just want to burn them out, make sure that they're exhausted, they're going to grow, and this is confusing. Okay, so you want to do 1 rep left, 1 rep right, 1 rep both, 2 left, 2 right, 2 both, 3 left, 3 right, 3 both, 4 left, 4 right, 4 both, 5 left, 5 right, 5 both. And yeah, it's a confusing thing. It actually took me 3 sets the last time to figure it out, and I am shocked that we got this on the first try this time. I don't know if I'm blonde, I don't know if it's confusing, it could be both, but really focus on it, and it's going to cause you to slow down and use that mind to muscle connection to focus on lifting that weight. And that is it for the lifting portion. I did do sprints and stretch out afterwards. The workout will be in the description box below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much again for all of your support, and I will see you next time.